Russell Wilson. So first of all, Russell, how are you this afternoon? It's great to see you again.
It's a pleasure, man. You're the best. It's fun. It's, I just came from Canada. Now I'm here in Minneapolis, and it's 0 degrees right now. Where are you? Are you in L.A. right now? Where are you at?
It's 81 degrees, Russell.
81-degree difference. That's the difference between me and you, Colin.
Well,
but you're a good man.
Well, let's start with this. Let's go back to your first Super Bowl. Yep. This is Nick Foles' first Super Bowl. Let's forget Brady for a second. Let's go back to your first Super Bowl. Bill Romanowski once told me he doesn't remember the first series in his first Super Bowl. He doesn't remember it. He was so nervous. So let's go to your first series in the Super Bowl. Is it a little fuzzy? Were you a little overwhelmed?
No, I didn't feel overwhelmed at all, actually. I'm trying to remember what the first series was. I don't remember. I just remember holding up the trophy. That's what I remember. I remember two things. I remember two things, Colin. I remember winning the Super Bowl and holding up the trophy. And the thing that I remember is, when I was a young kid, I used to always have this vision of me playing the Super Bowl. And so when I used to watch Super Bowls, one of my favorite things was when kickoff happened or when the coin toss happened as well, you'd see and all the flashing lights, right? And that would be like the coolest thing ever. So I always wanted to do that. So I was fortunate to be one of our team captains in my second year, and I went out to the coin toss. And here comes Peyton Manning, and here comes Champ Bailey, right? One of the greatest football players of all time. So I go out for the coin toss. But don't forget, Joe Namath was coming out too as well.
Oh,
so
good God.
He comes out, and we do the coin toss. They flip the coin, and we're the visiting team. They say, heads or tails, and typically, you know what I mean? And so the referee, says, guys, gentlemen, we got the AFC, the Denver Broncos, we got the NFC, we got the Seattle Seahawks. And we're going to have our coin toss. Seattle Seahawks, you're the away team, so you get to choose. So then he goes, we're going to have Joe, the infamous Joe Namath, flip the coin toss. So Joe grabs the coin and flips the coin, right?
Yeah.
But the referee catches it and says, whoa, Joe, you got to let him call heads or tails. And Joe leans in at me and goes, hey, Wilson, I always had a quick release, and so I'll never forget that, And so one of my greatest memories of all time playing football.
Russell,
so that's my story.
There's your story. That's great. Okay, let's start. You've had success against both these teams. Let's start with Philadelphia. I remember this year, you were brilliant. That you were running around making plays. In fact, I can remember the next day coming on the air and saying, folks, I've been a Russell Wilson fan for 4 years. This is going to go down as tape they put in the Hall of Fame. You were all over the field, 3 touchdowns, no picks, evading the rush. But by the way, the reason you had to run was because Philadelphia put pressure on you. Take my audience to what the Eagles' defense, what do you see? What will Brady see?
Well, their defense is really, really good. They're really talented. It can fly around. They have a lot of pressure packages. They do a great job of that. They really disguise really well. But Brady, he studies his film. He'll know what to do. He'll have a plan. They'll have a great game plan. And the key is when you're playing these games, it comes down to who's the team that can be the calmest, the quickest, and then who can finish the game strong and be poised and do the right thing. And so I think in this situation, obviously Tom Brady's done it before, but that doesn't mean that the Eagles can't. I think that with this team, with the Eagles, they have a lot of guys who've won Super Bowls. I think they have 5 guys maybe who've been in Super Bowls before, which is a big factor. I do think that this defensive rush, though, that the Eagles have is one of a kind. I mean, they got guys flying from everywhere. The key, though, is with the Eagles, all year they had great offense. They played great defense. And the key is you got to play really well early because their rush, you don't want to be in third and long situations because their rush is really, really strong and really fast. And so, but Tom will be ready to play some great football, that's for sure.
Yeah, that's a good point. You don't want to be in 2nd and 9, 3rd and 11, so you want to have success on first downs. Now, similarly, you've had great success against New England. You went to Foxborough last year and were brilliant. And then even in the Super Bowl, you moved the football. So now this is a very schematically savvy defense. Belichick's a defensive guy.
Yeah.
What will Nick Foles see? What are the tricks they try to do with your eyes, your vision, your tunnel, what you're looking at?
Well, I think the thing that they're going to do, they love man defense. They're going to play great, man defense. That's always kind of been their thing. They may see some 2-man and everything else. The thing that, Nick has to just be ready for is just capitalize on the plays when they're there. Don't panic. Just play ball. And realize it's not just all on him. you're playing one of the great. In my opinion, you're playing Tom Brady, the greatest quarterback of all time. He's been successful year in and year out. He's 40 years old and still balling. So it's gonna be a challenge. But Nick's just got to play smooth, good football. He's gonna be ready. Nick was a guy who you think about last week, or I guess 2 weeks ago now, how he played in the NFC Championship game. He played lights out. I mean, bring that, Nick Foles. And I know Tom Brady's going to bring his best, and and it's going to be a good matchup. I have a lot of respect for Nick. I've gotten to know him, and then also Tom. I've gotten to know over the past few years, and so I'm excited about watching these two guys, play some great football.
It's interesting. We were talking about the dynasty earlier with New England. You are, because Pete Carroll is known as a defensive guy, and many of your best players were defense. Seattle, often we hear about the Legion of Boom. It's a different world, Russell, where you are the star quarterback, but you kind of play in a defensive-minded or defensive-branded system. Do you ever, and I know you're a selfless guy, but do you ever think, man, it would be great to throw it 48 times a game, and it would be great to have Pittsburgh's offense and freedom? You often don't. Do you ever think about stuff like that, playing in another offensive, more friendly system?
Colin, what's great? What's great is winning. That's what's great. That's all I care about. I'm obsessed with winning, and doing whatever it takes. I'll lay it on the line no matter what it takes. If we got to throw it 10 times, we got to throw it 40 times, we got to throw it 50 times. If I got to run to get a first down, run to get a touchdown, we got to do whatever it takes all year, all season. That's what I'm in love with. I'm in love with winning, and that's what I care about most.
Tom versus Time is a 6-part documentary that Brady has released over the last week. I'm obsessed with it. I think it's fascinating, because as I get older, I try to eat better. My wife went vegan 6 months ago, and I'm trying to support her. And so we're kind of into that stuff. And I know you are a guy that's totally committed. But how far does your commitment go? Because I had Alex Smith on the other day, and he said, Colin, I'm committed, but I like balance. I like a glass of wine occasionally. How far do you go, Russell, with your diet and training? Do you have a day you ever go out and just say, okay, I'm going to have chocolate chip cookies today mid-season. I want to go out and have a cocktail. How committed are you?
Well, you have to be disciplined. You have to be disciplined in the things that you're dedicated to. Everybody's, food thing is different, I think. But the thing that's more fascinating than anything else is his mind. And that's what I'm dedicated to. I'm dedicated to the mindset of what it takes to be great. And it's an everyday thing. It's an everyday obsession. There's no such thing as a day off. And your mind has to be ready for that. Your soul, your spirit, everything has to be ready to do what it takes to be successful. And like I said, I love winning. So every time I wake up, that's kind of my motto is win. And find ways to do that in whatever it is that you're doing. And that's what I surround myself with. Is I try to surround myself with people that have the same like mind. And I have a mental coach, Trevor Moad, who's one of the best in the world. I have a PT team. I have a PT, Janet. I have a trainer that goes with me everywhere I go. And I have a massage specialist. So I have all those things in place. But a lot of it is also the mind and how you train yourself and having that discipline to do that.
Yeah. And finally, Russell, you are speaking on behalf of Bose, which I've had multiple Bose sound systems in my life. It is an incredible high-end system. Why don't you talk about it?
Well, for me, you know me, Colin, better than anybody. I love music. And as you know that about me, I'm constantly listening to music. At the house, we're always playing music, especially when you're married to a singer and entertainer like Sierra. We're always playing music. But also for me, when I'm watching film, I constantly have my headphones on. So I have the QC35-2s on, which I need to make sure you have that pair. I'll send you a pair if you don't.
Yes.
But, it's one of those things that I'm always listening to music. So for me, that's a big. When I'm playing, I'm listening to music in my head. When I'm on the sideline, I'm singing songs in my head. And a lot of that is just keeping me calm. That's how I am. That's how I grew up. We were always dancing and singing around the house. And so nowadays, I always have the Bose Sound Sports in my earbuds in my ears too, as well as I'm training and getting ready for a tough season ahead. And so music's a big part of who I am, and that's part of my life. And so it's been a blessing. I've been with Bose for I think 5 or 6 years now, and so it's been a blessing to be a part of such a special company like Bose.
Russell, you've always been great to our show. You know what a fan I am of you. I appreciate you giving us 10 minutes today, bud. Continued success.
Man, I appreciate you, and go Hawks. I'll see you soon, bud.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from The Herd or go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.